So you've learned a little bit about meaning mapping. What do you think about it? What's been your history of thinking about it? What did you think about it when you were learning it?
So I first learned about meaning mapping 6 months ago. About I met with Mike after I originally talked to him at my work. I asked him what he was working on, and he told me that he was working on an idea that I was interested in. So I met with him to go talk about meaning mapping. And meaning mapping is basically it's like a different way of learning, sort of. It's like concepts go into different sections, and you kind of categorize things in order to see them better and to kind of visualize a topic or a subject in a different way to give you a better or different perspective on it.
Actually,
So let's say I was doing a paper. I am at a study session. Um, I'm with some people from my class, and it's a group paper. We're trying to outline some ideas for it. So let's just try this out. So like we would all agree on a few set ideas. We would go, number one is right here. Okay. And then somebody else says, oh, well, we also want to talk about
can you use black? I think it's going to show up a little better.
Yeah, sure.
And I suggest put it down in the middle.
Okay. So I want to talk about, okay, we got to talk about idea number one. So idea number one, we'll put it big in the middle. And then somebody says, yeah, that's good, but we can't forget about number two and number three. So it's like, draw a little number two's over here, and then you got number three over here. And then as the ideas come, you're just talking about the topic that you want to form, then you start to branch off. So 2 goes into 2A, 2B, and then 2B can branch off into 2C, 2D, and then, oh wait, 2D actually perfectly relates back to 1. So this can be a connection that you make right here. So basically, when you form this map, it's kind of like a blueprint for your topic, and it just helps you visualize better what you're trying to say. And it's very collaborative too, because if somebody else can say this, somebody else can say that, and you can just put it in different bubbles wherever you need to, and then you take a step back and you look at it and you say, wow, okay, well, we can connect these, oh, this one relates all the way back to this, and it's just a better way of visualizing what you're trying to say. And if I do that for a paper, it just helps me. It's kind of like if you're going to write an outline, like a different way of doing that. I've also used it for. I actually have used it for studying before. Okay, so like in macroeconomics, so like one of the first things we learned about was a business cycle. So you have the business cycle right here. In the business cycle, you got expansion, peak, recession, trough. Okay. In an expansion, GDP goes up. Okay. Stock market is going up, is increasing, and then you have like peak, that's the top point, and then you go recession. Okay, that breaks off into GDP is going down, right? Also, you could branch off. I think here. How do I do this?
Stock market.
Yeah, stock market. Stock market would be going down, and then you say, okay, well, GDP is going up, can branch off that. It's like, that means there's more investment, there's more opportunities. And same goes with this, it's like less opportunities. And then it's
That's good to start.
yeah,
Why don't you say, can you do something to, where you've made a connection?
yeah,
Can you talk about what a word or two, a phrase that might talk about that connection so
right.
that you can say, well, where do the connections go? Business cycle expansion. Business cycle produces expansion or reflects expansion or
Okay.
whatever. And, so every time that there's a connection, you could also go
Right
in and
forward.
explain it a little bit more, maybe get that down onto
Yeah.
the meaning.
Uh-huh. Looking for good connection.
Well, every connection has something to say about it, even if it's something almost trivial, like recession is indicated by,
Yeah. Yeah.
lower GOP or GOP.
So it's like business cycle creates, in this little thing, it also creates all of these.
Mhm.
And then you say another term that comes up in this chapter. So the stock market is going down if the economy is in a recession and there is inflation. Recession produces inflation. If the economy is in a recession and there's also inflation, these both are called stagflation. I don't know that I'm necessarily a visual learner or a textual learner. I don't know what you would call it, but just going through a textbook is just monotonous and boring. It's just reading line after line of information.
Yeah.
So when you take the main ideas that they're trying to get across and what you need to learn, and you put them in circles, and you kind of just visualize it differently. Like now I see, okay, business cycle, peak, recession, trough, expansion, peak, recession, trough. It would take a whole paragraph to explain that. But when I just see it, okay, business cycle means this. And then I could draw a graph too. It's like expansion, this is the expansion, peak, recession, trough. Okay, there's your trough. So it's like going like that. So it's expanding, peak, recession, trough. It's like, okay,
What was that diagonal line?
this is just in the long run, it's all follows along this line, but basically it's like this. Okay. And it just keeps going.
Okay.
That's just, I don't know why I drew it weirdly. But yeah, so instead of taking, a couple paragraphs of text and reading it through and kind of having to visualize it yourself, you go, oh, okay, business cycle, expansion, peak, recession, trough. And then you could break expansion. GDP goes up, stock market goes up. That's when the economy is expanding. Okay. You don't have to go to the other section that says expansion. You just see it. You just see it. Oh, that's what that means. And then it branches off even more. When GDP goes up, it's more investment, more opportunities. You don't have to read through all the subtext and little like bullet points. You just see it. And I think it just, your brain kind of follows it more easily than reading through just a block of text. Yeah.
If you had not read the text and you saw the meaning map, would you still have half of the way of looking at it? Like, does the text actually help kind of confirm something that you see in a map? Or in other words, is there a need for both?
Well, and again, I mean, this is like spur of the moment meaning map here, but if these little connections, creates, if like these have a connection here, if the connectors explain it well enough, in a meaning map, if they say like creates, produces, lead to this, and then it just has all these things branching out, then I think you could just understand the meaning map. I would feel like the text definitely would help. I mean, obviously, if you read the chapter and do a meaning map, you can have better understanding than just the meaning map. But yeah, I mean, this kind of simplifies it. It takes a lot of the unnecessary words out, and just kind of because you don't need all the fluff. I would much more easily remember a big picture of something like a graph like that or something than I would like a word here and then just this long definition. I would remember this a lot more than I would that. And then if you take a meaning map, you remember, oh, okay, business idea, yeah, that branched off into this and this. It just kind of gives you more meaning out of it than just like a bullet point.